Hi listeners, welcome to your daily cup of coffee with Charu, where hopefully with a hot cup of coffee we discuss how to tackle the day and the week ahead based on the astrological aspects that are dominating the sky. Yesterday I briefed you on the Mars-Neptune square that's dominating the sky this week, and it's happening at the point where the solar eclipse of 10th of June will bring about a new beginning. We all have been discussing solar eclipses bring about fated changes. The changes that would normally take years and years to happen, solar eclipses bring about that all of a sudden. But there's a build up to the solar eclipse, and this aspect is very much part of a build up to the solar eclipse of 10th of June in Gemini, and Mars is right now standing at the very degrees where that eclipse is about to happen. Today, after a brief introduction, we're going to dig into your specific zodiac sign and see how this impacts you. You can catch me on YouTube as well as across the podcast platforms, Anchor, Spotify. I will leave the links in description for you so you can access this episode also through the podcast platforms. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. As I mentioned in my post and podcast yesterday, Mars square Neptune will become exact on 9th of April, and it would be felt most of this week. Mars is our drive and Neptune tends to slow it down. But there is a hindrance for a more effective and inspired action that this aspect is trying to highlight to us before we go blazing into the eclipse season with a fated shift in our life. The 10th June eclipse would be starting a new chapter at the point where this aspect is happening right now. So understanding this aspect and the dissonance that it is creating this week, the purpose behind that dissonance is very important for you to have the right kind of beginning on 10th of June solar eclipse. North Node or Rahu has already visited and activated this eclipse in January of 2021. We have already experienced the activation of this new beginning, whether we are aware of it or not. Some of the things might be happening behind the scene and we may not be fully aware of. They will fully come out, and the physical manifestation of it will fully come out to light during the June eclipses. But the activation of the eclipse already began in January of 2021. Mars right now, standing at that very point in Gemini, dares us to do the right thing before we enter the physical manifestation phase of that period, of that eclipse. With Neptune, Mars is trying to put the inspiration behind our action, the right inspiration behind the actions that we're going to take. A collective goal, some faith behind our actions, and making sure that we're going after something with the right purpose behind it. Sometimes we reach where we thought we wanted to go, only to realize later on that is not the destination we truly wanted to get to. And Neptune is trying to make sure that we understand that what we are going after is truly our purpose, truly our desire. Neptune dissolves social, political, religious, and personal boundaries as well that block our collective growth. And they block the birth of a new societal ideal. So Neptune is trying to dissolve all of those hindrances and those boundaries that block that birth within ourselves as well. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown. So if we are trying to take the practical route, the easy route, Neptune is going to try to stop us in the tracks. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown, to aim higher, aim for a higher purpose, higher road. It teaches us to love unconditionally, allow the barriers to disintegrate, and act out of a place of pure inspiration to contribute to the society versus for ego gratification or for fitting in into the society and our surrounding. It undermines the success which comes without service to the collective and without service to your own soul. It is trying to keep you honest to your own soul's purpose. Nothing is done fully for altruistic purposes, but Neptune demands that our motivations aren't inspired by pure ego boost or societal pressure. A very creative aspect is currently happening, and it makes us sensitive to both our soul's purpose as well as to the collective need and styles. So, what we create is made out of pure love. It is made from a place of wanting to channel our soul. And there is an element of self transcendence over here where we don't necessarily keep ourselves and our ego gratification as the front of what we are trying to do. What we hold at the front of our mind when we are going after something, when Neptune is aspecting it, is a higher purpose. And that is bound to touch others on a deeper in a deeper way. And it will serve the collective in a much, much more meaningful way. So let's put some meat on the bones now by looking at your sign. And as usual, check your rising sign. That is the key indicator. And if you're able to, check the sun and the moon sign for a fuller picture. But rising sign would be the key indicator for how this aspect is playing out for you. So let's dig in. Hi Scorpio. Scorpio, the 10th of June eclipse that's about to come, which is a solar eclipse and hence a new start, is happening in your house of rebirth and transformation, your own very house. So it's aiming to bring a new phase of transformation, a very powerful financial and personal transformation in your house of rebirth. This is the area of our life that's, as Scorpio, we ace normally, and we normally come out of a phase of loss or even despair and crisis when this happens and make the best of it. I wish that was not the case, but heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's very much part of Scorpio destiny to do that. And with the North Node right now in our house of rebirth, this new life, new power, this rebirth is the key to our success right now. And you might be in the process of laying down the groundwork for it. You might need to move from the past in some way. You might be delving deeper into the future and figuring out and disconnecting from some darkness and weakness that the past had. In the same vein, you might be honing your skill set to move forward, getting your financials right to move forward, researching certain tough topics to move forward. This is sort of a new life that you're about to start after a little bit of a darker phase. And Scorpio, to some extent, the new start needs to come with multiple choices, and those choices is what Neptune sometimes helps us filter through, because as a sign we are able to be good at multiple things. We have Gemini in our house of depth, which means that we have ability to go deeper and in depth and gain expertise, gain skill sets on multiple topics that require research. That it could be tough topics on life, finances. They are all our speciality. Our work could involve that, and our new start could very much involve that. These tough topics, from healing, occult, astrology, psychology, sex, energy to stock market, oil market, a Scorpio can know it all, research it all, and make money from it all. This phase that you are in right now, where you're having a rebirth and you're actively, your ruler Mars is actively working on that rebirth before the full moon that is about to happen at the end of April, which is a very, very powerful full moon. It's coming with a solid T-square. A T-square is a tough aspect, but it presents a choice to us. It presents a choice to us over which path do we want to take. And that T square is coming with a crossroad. It's coming with a crossroad where you sort of have to make a mind up about a long-term outcome. This is related to your finances, this is related to your home, it's related to your place of living as well, which the outcome would involve. So while that is building up, you are currently in this phase of a powerful new start in your finances, disconnecting from the darker side of your history, which might have begun in December or January through a fated event, which might look dark on the surface, but it's meant to bring you life. It's meant to bring you back to life. It's meant to make you feel alive in your soul. Death and rebirth is very much a part of our life as Scorpio, and we are going through a very heightened cycle of that death and rebirth because North Node or Rahu currently is in our house of rebirth. It's bringing certain fated events in our life, which is exaggerating as well as enhancing our path of this transformative journey. Matters linked to joint finances, linked to inheritance, linked to loans, insurance, and will might be currently being worked on. Scorpio, experiment, learn, teach, write, become more skillful and valuable in crisis. We don't give up in crisis. We become more in crisis. We tend to experiment more when we go through this rebirth. We tend to go and learn new skill set when this happens. We become more valuable when a crisis hits us. We don't get bogged down by it. We research on scary topics that people feel not so confident in. We are not scared of self-analysis. We are not scared of life after death. We are not scared of these difficult topics. We read about it. We write about it. We talk about healing. We talk about spirits. We talk about psychology. We talk about money. These are the topics which are difficult for others, which come easy to us, which come easy for us to experiment and understand. And this death and rebirth is putting you in a situation where you have to use your Scorpio power to come out of a phase. It's almost like we have to dust and just move forward. And once you go through it, you can teach others and you can enrich yourself and others financially and in life. Something though right now might be feeling like a block, like a delay in that rebirth. It almost feels like a distraction. And it's like we are completely ripe for a rebirth, but it's something very nebulous in our house of love, in our house of children, in our house of passions, that might be contradicting that phoenix powerful moment. It's like, when you are in that, I don't know, I picture myself like coming out of fire as a phoenix, and then an angel or a kid comes and just hugs you and you melt in their arm, kind of a thing. So it's like a distraction, but it's the light part of your life and the dark side of your own life, which is at war right now. The light side is coming through our love for those in our life, our lack of boundaries with people we love, our passions, the things we enjoy to do. We have a childlike joy doing them. The creative juices that we have been blessed with Neptune in our house of creativity right now. People we love, or our idea of ideal love, that's sort of melting that part of us which would normally be angry. So it's like you're not able to somehow get kick-started because somebody needs you. People need you. Your loved ones need you. Or they're softening that edge to some extent. And crisis we seem to be undergoing, and the power or even the anger that it's creating in us is conflicting with our need to give selflessly to our loved ones, or our ability to do things we enjoy or love to do. And life in the moment can feel a little bit out of control, and that's something Scorpios cannot stand. We feel out of our element when that happens. Our need to take care of our finances or go deeper into our work can conflict with our need to do things for those in our life we love, like our children, our partner. Creative expression of life might be coming in conflict with an ending or a dark phase we need to handle. Sometimes we can find that our creative ventures or the risk we took in our life did not reward us in the way we thought it should. And that can also make us feel disheartened or delusioned from taking new risk in our life. And it comes in the way of having that phoenix powerful moment, because you're still thinking that my creative ventures did not pay off the way I thought they should. I do agree that we need to draw some boundaries here. We need to especially draw some clear boundaries so we have the space to come out powerfully. You need that space to come out powerfully, to think rationally. And if you are in the middle of being that care person for all, where you're sort of doing things for all, we need to draw that healthy line. So you're able to take care of your finances, you're able to take care of your health, you're able to take care of this dark phase that you went through that you need to come out from. But at the same time, doing what you love, being with people who love you or who you love, they can aid that recovery from loss. Every time we don't have to do it alone, Scorpio. We don't have to always do it alone. And I know that's a very tough and a touchy topic. I'm a Scorpio rising, so I know that. Asking for help is just makes me feel weak. And it sort of creates this imbalance in relationships that I don't like. And it's something that Neptune is trying to teach us, to soften that part of us in some ways, that you can have a phoenix moment while still loving a small child on your side. You can still be that selfless, idealistic lover while having that powerful moment. So the blend of the two and the knowing that love makes you stronger, doing what you are passionate about, that you feel that you're gifted to do, makes you stronger. Having that capacity to still do it all over again makes you more strong in your skin. It's something that you have to live through. It's an experience that is going to make you financially and in life enriched. Instead of trying to block your flow of creative genius that Neptune has opened up, maybe we need to creatively find ways to make money from it. Children and other people can do it with their love. What going through 1,000 fires won't do it for you. Healthy boundaries are required, but a little bit of letting people in, letting love in is also required. We can feel like a tortured poet and create a lot of things, but we need to work on creating returns from our work as well. We don't need to be a starving artist. We need to work on creating returns from our work by having more faith in what we are creating. And we need to manage a little bit of risk. When Neptune is in our 5th house of taking a risk on ourselves, it creates a lot of faith in our own gifts, which is great because those gifts need some positivity, some faith to flow through you. But little bit of reining in some of the risk is required, because when Neptune is in our 5th house, we don't have a limitation on the risk we take. And seeing it a little bit clearly by working on our finances at this time and taking care of our financial returns on that venture is required. And our heightened intuition can help us in financial matters. Your charm can get you through some tight corners in joint situations which seem barbed. We can mix the two, Scorpio. We can mix the two. And that's what Neptune is trying to teach us in the moment. That while we are having a rebirth, it doesn't have to be all dark. It can be dark and light. We can be both. We can be both, because Neptune has opened a very different door for us right now. It doesn't have to be the same way before. Neptune is an outer planet which forms a very rare transit for us. So it changes the sign. These outer planets, they change the very definition of sign. The Scorpios of our generation are going to be different from the Scorpios that came before. So if in the past we have all done it the way, alone by ourselves, maybe we don't have to do it all. And North Node is in our house of joint finances, give and take in relationships. Road to success, Scorpio right now, is to go in together with somebody, is to have this joint destiny with somebody, is to have this rebirth, is to go through a process of going through the depth of your soul and then coming up with your biggest work. Because, our work, our creativity, it might be getting blocked because of something that has happened or an incident that had happened in January, which is panning out in front of you. But that incident, that darkness can enrich the work you were doing before. It can add the depth to your writing. It can add the depth to what you're doing. It can add more power to how you were going after your creative venture. And similarly, the other side, which is the love of your life, the children, the lovers, the passions that you have, they can give that positivity to go after more for you financially. They can become the drivers for you to ask your fair share from life, to ask for money for your creative ventures, to ask for your fair share in joint situations, to be more powerful in your presentation, to go deeper in your subject in some ways. So this new start, in my view, would be very much related to you using your talent to go deeper into subjects and making money from it in some ways. And psychologically, it will be a very powerful phase for you. It's like becoming that Zodiac archetype of power that you are, of a phoenix moment, is what the June eclipse is about. It's like coming out of that phase on the other side, essentially. I'm personally looking forward to that, and I'm working through my own 8th house matters right now. I'm pretty sure you can relate to that, and I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.